Hi, my name is Alona and I like to garden. Today is May 28th and I finally get to plant my warm weather crops. Here in Colorado we do have colder spring, so we typically don't get to plant out until Mother's Day or even Memorial Day, and that's what's happening this year. Memorial Day was yesterday and today I get to put my plants in the ground. So excited! As you can see, I do have quite a bit of plants to put out there. So I have some flowers over here. I got some veggies over there. I got more flowers behind me on that wall. So there's a lot going on. I know I will have extras and I know I won't get to plant it all today, but we'll see how far we can get. Now, if this is something that is interesting to you, then let's go. Now, first things first, full disclosure. I do live in a neighborhood, so you may hear things of cars, planes, kids, and dogs in the background. This is just where I live. I can't control that, so there you go. Alright, first order of business are my vegetables. I think I'm going to put my tomatoes and my peppers in the ground today, and I'm going to save the eggplant another week or so. Now, eggplant does love much warmer weather, and as you can see, it already is starting to bloom. And honestly, if I stick it in the ground right now, I think it's just going to drop those blooms, and I don't want that for to happen. Now my tomatoes are starting to bloom too. Look at that. And so are my peppers. My peppers are starting to bloom too. So those will definitely go in the ground though. And now these are my extras. I know I have a lot of extras. So some of these are the ones that were sick from before. So like this tomato was one of those yellow ones with dry leaves from before. As you can see, it's like fully recovered and doing great. And then here's another one. It's also doing great. No yellow, and it's starting to bloom. Look at that. That's amazing. But yeah, so those are definitely extras, and these are my plants. So let's get to planting. These are my garden beds where my peppers and tomatoes are gonna go. But before I do that, I wanted to call out one thing. If you watched the video where I put these beds together earlier this year, you may recall that I used Mel's Mix from Square Foot Gardening to fill the beds with for the growing medium for the soil. Except in one of the beds, this particular one, I just did Mel's Mix, used worm castings as one of the compost options that I put in here, while the other bed that went over there, I added fertilizer instead of worm castings. I used Trifecta Plus organic fertilizer, and at the time I told you guys that I'll be watching these beds to see if there is any difference, because Square Foot Gardening method says that if you use Mel's Mix as is, your plants will grow just fine and you won't need to add any fertilizer to it. Well, it's only been a few weeks since my plants have been put in. I only have brassicas in here. I have mostly broccoli and cabbage in here, and I think the results are speaking for themselves already. So like I said, broccoli and cabbage in here. I grew them from seed, same variety. I just divided them in half between this bed and the other bed. So this is the bed with Mel's Mix only, and I have broccoli, cabbage here. And then this is the bed where I have Trifecta Plus fertilizer too. Broccoli, cabbage. I mean, look at the size of these plants. The difference is incredible. So look at this broccoli right here. And look at this broccoli right here. Look at this cabbage right here. And look at this cabbage right here. I mean, the difference is just incredible. So here's the lesson that I'm learning. With Mel's Mix, do the plants grow in it? Yes, they do. Are they doing well? Yeah, they're doing all right. But they're doing so much better with a little bit of fertilizer mixed in the soil, like in this bed. So going forward, I definitely will be adding fertilizer, slow release fertilizer to kick off the season. And then this season, I'll probably be adding water soluble fertilizer to get these plants to thrive even more. And now on to my peppers and tomatoes. So I do have my garden plan right here. As you can see, it's been used and abused over the last couple of months, but it's still working. If you missed that video where I made this plan, it's on my channel. But everything with check mark in there is already in the ground. Everything that doesn't have a check mark is not in the ground. So today we're going to do peppers and tomatoes. Here's my soil temperature. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says 61 degrees right now, which is fine for peppers and tomatoes. So we'll be planting those today. Okay, so my tomatoes and peppers are in the ground, but only one of my plants had a tag with it. So I'm gonna go make more tags for the rest of them so I can tell them apart later. Got my tags. All right, so I have heirloom tomato over here. I have a jalapeno pepper over here. And then I do have a brandywine tomato right here. Okay, cherry tomato. And a sweet pepper over here. All right, my little plants are in. Now, last thing I need to do is put some cages on. I'm gonna go get those and I'll be right back. All right, so the cages are in. I put cages on the tomatoes as well as on the peppers. I haven't done cages on the peppers before, so we'll see how that works. Hopefully it does good. And then last thing we need to do is water these guys in. Next order of business are the marigolds. Now this is where things get interesting because veggies, I did plan out what is going to go where. Flowers, I did not. Now these marigolds, I do want to put in my garden beds as a pest control measure. Let's decide where these gonna go. Maybe one over here. Over here. Over here. I'm putting 4 per bed. And one over here. Then I got 4 more for the other bed. Last one. All right, let's put them in. And the marigolds are in. They look good. Hopefully they grow good too and work for pests. And the last thing I'm gonna do today is plant some of these flowers in these 2 large containers that I have next to my patio. Now these are not all the flowers that I want to put in these containers, but I gotta start somewhere, so this is where I'm starting. So on this side, all the way to the left, I do have a begonia hiding in between the peony bush and the Casablanca lily bush. This is nice and shady, so I thought it would do well in here. I haven't really grown begonias before, so hopefully it's a success. But my mom got me this flower for Mother's Day, so thank you, Mom. I'm excited to grow it. Speaking of my peonies, look at that. I'm getting the very first bloom opening up. It's so pretty. I can't wait for all of these to start opening up too. Little bees have been patiently waiting for my flowers to open up too. Go bees! Now below that, I have a geranium. This is that fuchsia color one. So I decided to put it all the way to the left here. I have a green coleus. I have a purple sweet potato wine. I have another geranium. This one's more of a pink color. I have these red daisy-like flowers here. And then I do have a purple salvia in the corner. I do usually have a salvia right in this very spot every year. And I love it there, so I'm putting it there again. And then on this side, I have some of the same flowers. I have a pink geranium and a fuchsia colored geranium. I do have a coleus, only this one's a purple color, not the green. It is pretty beat up by the weather that we've been having with the wind and the scorching sun interchanging back and forth. So it does look to be in rough shape, but it's going to recover in no time and it will be good. I've had this one for a few years now and it does this every year, so it's going to be great. And then last but not least, I do have this petunia over here. Now this is not one of the petunias that I have grown this year. This one I received as a free gift from Lowe's for Mother's Day. So thanks Lowe's, I really appreciate it. So I'm putting it towards the front here because I think it's really pretty. But yeah, another peony bush getting ready to bloom and then lilies on the end. So let's get to work. Oh, and the last thing, I'm gonna be adding fertilizer in these beds. Now I do have this one. It's labeled for trees, shrubs, and evergreens, which I don't have any of that. I just have annual flowers in these beds. To be honest, I don't know if it matters what it says on the label. What I look at are these three numbers over here, and this one's 1648. So it has 16 nitrogen, which nitrogen is responsible for growing the green above ground part of the plant, which I do want to have a lot of that because I do want my annuals to grow nice and big. It has 4 phosphorus, and then phosphorus is responsible for blooms and fruit and fruiting varieties, and then 8 potassium, which potassium is responsible for root development. And I am happy to see that there's more of it because, well, each plant needs to have a good root system to have a great plant above it. So I think it's perfectly sufficient to mix in my beds over here. I also will be using liquid fertilizer throughout the summer to help those blooms, so I'm not too worried about this number being a little bit lower. So yeah, I'll be mixing this in to help support my plants growing throughout the season. And I am done. I feel like I got a lot done today, on the one hand. On the other hand, I feel like there's still so much more to do, but I'm gonna enjoy what I have accomplished today. I got some flowers in the ground. I got my garden beds almost finished. All I have to do in these is add eggplant in about a week, maybe 10 days when it gets even warmer. But for now, I'm gonna get inside because it looks like it's gonna storm. Look at that sky. So I'm gonna get inside and enjoy the rest of the day with my family and my kids. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy gardening.